Hi everyone, how are you? I hope you're all well. Our general election is over and results are trickling in. It will likely pick up pace in the afternoon or by tonight, tomorrow morning. Quite frankly, I know I should care, but there's absolutely no point in worrying about it because they will count the votes the way they want the outcome to be. In my opinion, the DA will take a lot of the towns in the Western Cape, or at least the bigger towns and cities where they have been in charge for a while already, and central government will go back to the ANC. I think it will take several generations and a very, very charismatic, larger-than-life new leader in another party to unseat the ANC, and I have not seen such a man yet. Anyway, let's talk royals. But first, I shall continue with the Harkle children over the weekend in a part 3, in which I am going to address all the theories, suspicions, gossip, and stories, those which are completely crazy, completely nuts, and those which may have an element of truth to them. It will possibly be one of the most controversial videos I have ever made because I'm going to give it to you as I got it. And at the end of the video, you can decide for yourself what you want to believe. I shall clearly distinguish what is indeed fact and what has been verified and what I think is gossip or pure madness. But I shall then also caution you that at the end of the day, what I believe to be true is indeed based on my opinion and perceptions. So again, decide for yourself as always. Anyway, in today's video, I want to address things around the royal family and Meghan and Harry, which are pure insanity and which are driving me up the wall, even more so than Harry and Meghan themselves. Is that even possible, you ask? You bet your bottom dollar it is. So what is it that drives Bookworm so mad? Well, let's quickly do a test. How do you know that I'm not feeling well or am upset about something? Because I told you so. I came on here and told you my blood pressure was high or my back is sore or I'm angry or upset. But I promise you that there are times when I was really ill or upset to the point of crying that I came on here, jumped into a video, and no one could or would be able to tell that back at the ranch I have something bugging me or wrong with me. I know because I speak to someone I know regularly and she would say, "Oh, I would not have known listening to you this morning." Now I'm asking you, seeing that none of the royals ever come out and actually say, "Oh, I'm upset today," or "Oh, I'm so depressed today," or "Oh, I'm feeling like shit, my blood pressure was high last night, blah, blah, blah." I mean, they just don't do that. So how on this darn earth can those so-called royal experts and royal reporters go on GB News or any other channel or write in newspapers or magazines about how the King or William or anyone else feel? I have now read and heard numerous times, "The King feels that," or even "The King thinks that," or worse, they state as fact that this one's feelings have been hurt or they feel betrayed or blah, blah, blah. Now, how the F do you know how they feel? Did the King come to you and say, "Oh, my darling royal reporter, I feel so sad today, as I feel my darling boy betrayed me. I think I should stick my head in the sand and pretend it never happened in order to protect my fragile emotions. In your dreams, royal expert or royal fake reporter, it has never happened and it will never happen. I told you in a few videos how much I have learned and are still learning through this channel. And one thing I have learned is that if a report, verbal or written, starts with the king or William feels, then I know what is to follow is utter BS. We can speculate and say, I think, or maybe, but the fact is we don't know how any of them feel. And if we say we do, then we are delusional, and the rest of our narrative is likely delusional as well. The next thing which really gets to me lately is how many experts there are lately and how many royal authors and reporters there are. Good Lord, they are a dime a dozen. Even content creators who have been on YouTube and never spoke about the royals, except maybe on the odd occasion in terms of, say, Epstein, now have weekly or twice weekly royal updates. Goodness, I've heard and read the most ridiculous stuff from contributors, supposed reporters, and creators who are ever so popular because they are loud, or they are prepared to talk shite, or they are pretty, or controversial, or whatever. But if you really listen, or really read to absorb the content, you realize they know very little about the monarchy and how it operates and works. Look, before you guys say anything, we all make mistakes. I made a huge mistake recently and I told you so. And why did I make that mistake? Because I assumed that I knew how King Charles felt about his youngest son. But I'm not making excuses for myself when I say that that was sort of an honest mistake based on what Harry allowed to be said in the media, namely that his father was too busy to see him. The mistake was also, however, a very good reminder for me to be more careful in the future. However, other people don't care. They will knowingly put out utter tripe for a couple of dollars for clicks and views or for £10 per column inch. And then there are those who, very much like Meghan Markle, just crave that 5 minutes of fame. I want to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Just listen to this. Zara Tindall, niece of King Charles, faces risk of being forced into royal duties due to the void left by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle after remaining out of the limelight for many years, a PR expert claimed. It goes on and also talks about Beatrice and Eugenie, but what utter tripe, what utter rubbish. Clearly, whoever this PR expert is knows nothing about how the monarchy and royal family works, as in nada and zilch. Yes, Harry and Meghan took off for California, and yes, the king has cancer, and so has Catherine, but we are not living in the 1700s. And nobody can or will be forced into anything these days, and has not been forced for a good, say, 100 or 200 years. Remember, Edward would not let go of Wallace, wrote a letter and said, "Bye, Felicia." Nobody chopped his head off or hanged Wallace in the village square. More importantly, who will force them? King Charles? I think not. They can also not feel forced, because it's not up to them whether they work for the monarchy and represent the king. It is up to him, the king, and whoever has to be invited or asked to enter into service or work as a full-time working royal. And they are also welcome to say no, because there is no such thing as half in and half out. Prince Edward and his wife, Sophie, both had jobs outside of the royal family, but when they were asked to join the working royals, they had to give it up. Currently, Zara, Peter, Beatrice, Eugenie are all working outside of the royal family. Zara has her sport and training. Peter has his business. Beatrice is a director at Affinity. And Eugenie likes her job because it gives her the freedom to travel and even live in other countries for a period of time. None of them are receiving any money from the Privy Purse or the King's Duchy of Lancaster. None of them receive Met and Royal Security. We all know the King is undergoing cancer treatment, and although he is sort of semi-back in public, he still did his red box and other duties at his home office or at the Buckingham Palace office, even though he was not really out and about. The same applies to Catherine. She had also been working with her PA and other staff ever since she came out of hospital. We even saw her personal assistant drive away from the hospital with flowers and boxes and all kinds of things. Yes, Beatrice attended, I think, 2 events which Catherine would likely have attended had she been well. But that is perfectly within the guidelines of the current monarch or monarchy, as Beatrice is a councillor of state. So all this crap is very ignorant of how the monarchy works and what is indeed happening behind the scenes. My blood pressure also rises with this constant, oh, Beatrice and Eugenie's growing closeness scares William and Kate. Sorry, they don't even say Catherine. Oh, Eugenie is a mole. Sorry to disappoint you, but a mole is a spy. And exactly what was Eugenie supposed to spy on if she doesn't even have access to the king or William or Catherine's officers, their work, or any of their homes, unless she is invited there by them? Recently, I nearly had my head bitten off because I dared argue that a photograph of Joe Giuliano with a mixed-race baby is likely not him with a child he had with Meghan, and more likely of him and his wife's first child. Now, why did I say that? Well, because Joe and Meghan were at Northwestern together, and there are photographs of them together, a very young Meghan and a very young Joe. Were they eventually married? Who knows? Was it a shotgun marriage? Who knows? There is no proof of it. Is it possible? Yes, it is. But like I just said, when they were dating or going on dates, both were young, and they actually looked young. The man in the photograph holding the baby is in his mid-30s at the very least, at which time Joe was already married to his wife, a beautiful black woman. So that is more likely their child. So if you want to yell at me with exclamation marks, Megan's baby with Joe, exclamation mark, expose her, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, then, my dear, bring me the proof, the absolute proof, a signed statement or any legitimate paperwork, and I'll gladly expose Megan with pleasure and wherever I can. But bring me the proof, and do not yell at me when I give you my slightly more balanced opinion. Now look, we all give in to conspiracy theories and gossip and guesswork from time to time. But to actually get angry, to get threatening, or to simply knowingly state such a theory as fact is utterly ridiculous. But the reason why I'm angered by this is because the world is a nasty place right now. The royal family has issues galore, and Meghan Markle is a witch with a B, a narcissist, and maybe even a sociopath. She may be even nastier than we think, or she may actually be ill. I can't say for sure, but the entire situation with Meghan and Harry and their behaviours and their provable lies are bad enough. We truly do not have to make up any fairy tales and stories. There is absolutely enough out there without fakery to make you want to throw up in your mouth a little. As a matter of fact, all these fantasies and imaginings make us look as deranged, as delusional as the Sussex Squad. And yes, I know, I can also have 100,000 viewers if I start talking salacious crap, but I'm not going to do it, at least not without warning you first. And that is what I'm doing right now, because in the next video on the Harkle children, I am going to do just that. I'll tell you about all the salacious crap I have been told, but I'm going to leave it up to you to sort through all this nonsense and to decide for yourself which actually holds water, which could be true, and which is utter rubbish. So, okay, guys, I have to go. I will see you soon, but until then, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.